Good afternoon. We were discussing about the control of voluntary movements. Till now, we have seen how a plan is generated. Finally, there is execution of a movement and how feedback goes to the cerebellum and the cerebral cortex. The descending tracts, that is the lateral motor system, the medial motor system, the direct and the indirect pathways of the basal ganglia. We will discuss a bit about the cerebellum now. The cerebellum, there are multiple folia or transverse fold. You can follow the picture there. Then there are three fissures. One is the primary fissure, then we have the horizontal fissure and the posterolateral fissure. Anatomical divisions of the cerebellum. The cerebellum can be divided into anterior lobe, posterior lobe and the flocculonodular lobe. Phylogenetically, the cerebellum is divided into three: archicerebellum, paleocerebellum and the neocerebellum. Functional classifications: spinocerebellum, cerebrocerebellum and the vestibulocerebellum. Now we have some connections of the cerebellum through the superior, middle and the inferior cerebellar peduncles. The middle cerebellar peduncle doesn't have any efferent connection, only afferent connection from the pons. The inferior cerebellar peduncles afferents from the dorsal spinocerebellar tract, external arcuate fibers, vestibulocerebellar tracts, olivocerebellar tracts, reticulocerebellar tracts. Through the superior cerebellar peduncle enters the afferents from the tectocerebellar tract and ventral spinocerebellar tracts. Efferents, the dento, rubro, cortico, thalamic tract and to the midbrain. So in this picture, you can see that the cerebellum consisting of three parts. One is the lateral cerebellum or the cerebrocerebellum, where the deep cerebellar nuclei is the dentate nucleus. For the vestibulocerebellum, it is the nucleus fastidius. And for the spinocerebellum, it is the nucleus interpositus, which consists of nucleus globosus and nucleus emboliformis. The lateral cerebellum helps in planning of different movement. The vestibulocerebellum helps in maintaining balance and equilibrium and eye movements. The spinocerebellum helps in motor execution of different movements. Now let's see about the different layers of the cerebellar cortex. Outer molecular layer. Then there is the Purkinje cell layer and the granule cell layer. All information comes from different parts of the nervous system through the Mosey fibers, excepting the inferior olive. From the inferior olive, information comes via the climbing fibers. So, inferior olive, climbing fibers. Rest, Mosey fibers. The Mosey fibers, they produce on the parallel fiber circuit a simple spike, while the climbing fibers, they produce a complex spike. Now let's see different circuits present inside the cerebellum. So what happens? The Mosey fiber, they excite the granule cells. The Mosey fibers, they're exciting the granule cells. The granule cells in turn are exciting the stellate cells, basket cells, as well as the Purkinje cells. So, granule cells are exciting the stellate cell, basket cell, as well as the Purkinje cell. The stellate cell and the basket cell in turn are inhibiting the Purkinje cell. This is a form of feed-forward inhibition. Feed-forward inhibition. The Mosey fibers, they are stimulating the granule cell. They are also stimulating the Golgi cell. The Golgi cell in turn are inhibiting the granule cell. This is again another feed-forward inhibition. The granule cell, they stimulate the Golgi cell, while the Golgi cell, they in turn inhibit the granule cell. This is a feedback inhibition. So we have seen feed forward inhibition, feedback inhibition. Now we will see one feed forward excitation. There are some cells which are known as unipolar brass cells, which are also present in the granule cell layer. The Mosey fibers, they excite the granule cells. They also excite the unipolar brass cells. The unipolar brass cells in turn also excite the granule cells. So this is a form of feed forward excitation. So we have seen about feed forward inhibition, feed forward excitation, and feedback inhibition. Now let's see how a movement is smoothly persecuted with the help of the cerebellum. You are learning cycling. What happens? Initially, you fall multiple number of times, but after some time, you learn cycling. Then you don't fall while doing a cycling. Oh, how does this happen? Due to motor learning. When you were initially learning cycling, you fell down. Information from different parts of the central nervous system, they were going via the Mosey fibers to the cerebellum. So what was produced? Simple spikes. Multiple simple spikes were produced. The movement you had intended to do and the movement that you had done were mismatched. They were not at all matched. So what happened? There was a feedback that was going back to the cerebellum, and there was information going from the inferior olive via the climbing fibers to the cerebellum to make necessary connections. So there was generation of a complex spike, and there was long-term depression of different circuits. As a result, now your movements become smooth. This was motor learning. So in this diagram, you can see the multiple inner cerebellar circuits and how they are helping in motor learning. The functions of the cerebellum are: they help in control of body posture and equilibrium, control of muscle to tone, stretch reflex, voluntary control of movements. They have got comparator function, dampening action, timing and programming of movements, control of ballistic movements, servo mechanism, other function, some autonomic functions are there, some ascending sensory pathways, eyeball movements through the vestibulo-ocular reflex. Thank you.